Hi and welcome back to Cheeky Crypto. My name is Nick and today guys we're going to be jumping back down into the world of BTC to take a look at what has been going on most recently here with the price action of Bitcoin. Now as I get into this video, if you find it useful and informative, smash that like button. I do appreciate that. If you're new to the channel, then do subscribe, tap the bell, select all the notifications, and in doing so you will be kept up to date with all the videos that we do here at Cheeky Crypto. And if you haven't yet joined us in Discord, guys, you're missing a trick. Check it out, linked in the description down below. It's a fantastic community talking crypto 24/7. It's completely free, and I don't think you'll be disappointed by what you find down there. It's the first place we go to notify you of everything that is going on in the crypto space. So keep a finger on the pulse of crypto by joining us in Discord. Okay, let's get into this. So Bitcoin paired up with USDT here on the hourly chart. Binance is our data source, and boy oh boy did we break down from our channel. Okay, so again, higher highs and higher lows, doing the standard kind of stuff we always see, breaking to the downside. Now, as you can kind of see here, I do have this scoped out as a 3-wave drop. We're going to check to see whether or not this is still valid after me charting this out probably 5 or so hours ago. We'll see how this is kind of going and monitor that kind of situation. And then I'm going to give you my thoughts over this entire structure to the upside here and also jump into some of those wallets. So let's start off by taking a look at this area, right? And we are going to throw in our stochastic here. We can see that we're high on the 1-hour chart. I think we're still going down on the 4-hour. Yeah, so we're reaching this lower end. I still think we've got a little bit more to go down. So I'm expecting us to kind of complete by pushing down a fraction more here. And, you know, the US market is about to open here at the point of recording, so we might see some fluctuations. We'll see how they kind of react to it. Essentially, based on our current performance here, based on this high, then we are talking about $17,018 approximately on the low. Now, one of the things I do want to kind of talk about is that this area here is our supply zone. This is our big boy supply zone. This is the area that we've been talking about for weeks, and we obviously had come up into this area and obviously got rejected here. Now, and in that kind of true fashion of what a supply zone does, is it kind of means there's a lot of selling pressure up here, and you can kind of see that we pushed up into this area once again, and we are starting to pull back to the downside. So selling has occurred here, and we'll jump into the who is selling in just a moment. So do sit tight for that one. Essentially, yeah, I think we've got to move down, and then I do think though we are likely to move back up again. And I think there's 2 possible counts here on a slightly bigger macro picture. And I say slightly, I mean, we can still chart it out on this hourly. That's not like it's not like it's massive in terms of time frame. All of this stuff is really minor. But nonetheless, I still think that there's one more potential push to the upside, but 2 different ways of looking at it. One, we've either already topped out just up here, okay, and now we're just correcting down, or the second one is actually we've got to have one more push upwards to complete what I think is potentially a double zigzag pattern. Okay, so 2 variations here, and it's really tough to know exactly what's going to go on yet. Okay, so kind of keeping a close eye on Bitcoin here and to see whether or not it does rally on up a little bit further. And again, that might be DXY driven. It might not be. We'll see. Yeah, so a couple more minutes and the US market will open, and we'll see how this kind of reacts, okay? So whilst we wait for the US market to open, let's actually jump down into what structure could be on the horizon here when it comes to going up here. As I said, there's a potential for a double zigzag pattern, and basically that would mean that this here is an A wave coming up. This would be our B wave, and then we'd have a C wave to come up higher. Okay, so that's one zigzag pattern. The second zigzag pattern would actually put us here, where we have this 5 waves coming up, 3 waves going down, 5 waves going up there. Okay, so it becomes a double zigzag, if you can kind of follow that. 1 zigzag there, 1 zigzag there. Okay, so that's kind of variation number 1, but it does pull into question what is happening down this side. Or was it a simple just 3-wave correction in here, and is this entire thing a WXYXZ, which it could well be. So we'd go up here into a WXYX and Z. Alternatively, if we really want to kind of break it down slightly differently to make it a little bit easier to read, we'd go up here into a W, here is an X, this would be our Y, this would be our X, and then this would be our Z. Okay, so you kind of see that kind of 5 waves, but not impulsive. So it's not a 5-3-5-3-5, but instead would be classified more as a WXYXZ. function. And if that is what's playing out here, then we'd have one more push up higher before we collapse on down. Alternatively, as I had it mapped up from the real early stages, we are done. Okay, and we've actually done a zigzag pattern over this side. So we would come up here into our zigzag like this, into our big boy supply zone area. Okay, and now we're breaking on down, and everything that led up into that area is basically a 3-3-5 structure coming up here. Okay, yeah, right up into here, a 3-3-5. And if that's a 3-3-5 broken down into a 3-wave structure and then into a zigzag. Okay, so again, another variation to it. It's hard to say exactly which one plays out until we get the next move here for Bitcoin. I like the idea of the WXYXZ variation. I think it's a better fit overall on the structures that we've seen here when it comes to Bitcoin. But, you know, time will tell whether or not that is going to be correct. The other thing to kind of bear in mind here is, although I am saying we have to kind of revisit the $17,000 low points, that's not a guarantee either. We can, of course, see a small corrective wave in here that could actually mean that this is all done and dusted right down at this previous area of supply. And it could have turned into an area of demand. Okay, so there's no guarantee that we break on down. But I do want to kind of highlight there is momentum to the downside still to be had here. Not only on the 1 hour, but also on the 4-hourly chart, the 12-hourly chart, the 16-hourly chart, the 20-hour chart, and of course, the daily chart. All of which are indicating to us that we have to break on down. So it's still possible we just rally up, but I think the most probable scenario is that we do move down first. Now, if I take a look at the HTF liquidity, we can see that there's liquidity stacking up on both sides pretty evenly here. So this doesn't overly help us in trying to ascertain whether or not we're going to wick down before we rally on up. I think that's the most likely scenario based on the wave counts, that we do actually wick down before rallying on up. And, you know, I don't think we're going to really target anything above 18,000. I mean, look at that. There is a big wide gap here with not terribly too much in it. So if we're to liquidate all these positions, then yeah, this could actually start to be an interesting kind of time for Bitcoin. But overall, my expectations here are that we move down towards the 17K and then have another 5-wave movement to the upside afterwards. Something to this effect, just take us up maybe towards 17.5, nothing more than that, and then we'll be done. And I think from that point, we can then start to reflect on those bigger macros, which again are the fact that we kind of have the C wave kind of looking to complete up here, which is of course a B wave movement, which means that we do have to kind of come down into our C waves at some point in the future. But let's jump down into the world of wallet count, as we can see who's been buying and who's been selling. Right? So as the price of Bitcoin goes to the upside, we do expect to see essentially some buyers and some sellers, right? That's one of what you're going to expect to see under these kind of circumstances. The question becomes, who is selling as price goes up and who is buying as price goes up? So here we have the retail wallets. This is krill, shrimp, and dolphins, or more specifically, anything over 1 or 0.1 Bitcoin, over 1 Bitcoin, and over 10 Bitcoin. And we can see all of these guys have been buying. They've been accumulating. The wallet counts have increased in the last few days as price has gravitated to the upside, which means if small retailers are buying, then who is selling? And that's when we take a look at the larger wallet counts. Sharks, whales, Kraken. Shark, whales, and Kraken are 100 Bitcoin or more, 1,000 Bitcoin or more, 10,000 Bitcoin or more. And you can see that these wallet counts are decreasing. Okay, there's always a buyer, there's always a seller. And it appears that the big money is selling into the pump with small money buying up the pump. Okay, so FOMO from retail investors yet again proving whales correct, and they're basically selling into those pumps. So just be really, really cautious. The data inside the charts really are saying that we're coming towards an end of a structure, and we are looking for a massive break to the downside. And in the case of Bitcoin, at some point in the future, I do expect new lower lows. Could be several months from now. Who knows how long that's going to go? But there's nothing here to give me encouragement to think that we've bottomed out or anything like that. The wallet counts are also an indication that there's no buying pressure from the higher kind of wallet sizes. So no whales are looking to really come in here big. Instead, all we have are retail money still flowing in, trying to buy the pump and, you know, kind of thinking the bottom is in, when essentially big money is saying, no, it isn't. So following that and following the fact that we've got Elliott wave structure, I think this market is about on the cusp of a massive collapse to the downside that is going to unfortunately wreck a lot of retail investors. But don't take my word for it. Do your own research. I'm not a financial advisor. I can't give you financial advice. All I can do is give you my thoughts and opinions on the data in the charts as I see it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Until the next one, guys, have a fantastic day.